and welcome to podcast 14. Today we explore how we establish our financial connections with extreme thrills on roller coasters. We are exploring the financial detail behind coaster investment. Let's start with some basic financial fundamentals. Firstly, we have an investment to design and build a coaster. This is followed by its operational costs. A fundament important to understand is how much revenue the coaster will make, how it will make a return on investment. Revenue and return on investment are very complex and is something we will delve into deeper during the episode. To further the main title of the episode, we will also look at financing models. In somewhat hindsight, I think that we will use Hyperia as an anchor. Now it's time to focus on our fundamentals as single points. So let's jump in straight to the initial design and investment cost to build Hyperia. Some of you might know, but one of Merlin's staff actually lead the design for the Golden Goddess, a creative lead by the name of John Burton. So essentially, John Burton was a salaried worker for Merlin, who we all know owned the business rights to Thorpe Park and other Merlin attractions around the country. But that did not cover the cost. Burton worked alongside Mac Rides and further creative staff at Merlin Entertainments. The project from beginning to end was known as Project Exodus. The BBC reported that overall Project Exodus cost 18 million. Other resources say it could have been less, as low as 17.5 million. Hyperia is currently seen as the number one coaster in the UK, but it's not the most expensive. That crown actually goes to Odyssey at Fantasy Island. I won't spoil your research and tell you how much it cost, but behind the investment of Hyperia was a reveal of plans back in December 2021. After roughly 1 year of consultation, planning permission was granted in November 2022. So from late 2022 into May 2024 and £18 million later, John Burton and Mac Rides created Hyperia. Moving on to point 2, let's consider the operational costs. We can sum this one up quite quickly. Coaster Tog, a theme park YouTuber, revealed that it costs £5,000 per hour to hire Hyperia after hours. So let's explain briefly how that amount gets consumed. This includes each member of staff to operate the ride and guide customers during the event. Anything like electrical operations, smell pods, air conditioning, lighting and smoke machines, these all come under the tag utilities. The maintenance factor, whether that be live or not, they have to have capable engineers on standby. A Mac Rides controversy in recent times due to Stardust Racers, this is insurance and permits. Putting these in a nutshell, we have staffing cost, utilities, maintenance and insurance, that being £5,000 per hour. If Thorpe Park opens for 8 hours, that is £40,000. Isn't that absolutely mind-blowing? From this section about operation costs, we can move on to our next section, that being how much revenue and return of investment Hyperia achieves. Unfortunately, these details are not available to the general public, but we do know the operating costs at roughly £40,000 per day. We also know that Merlin lost £492 million before tax in 2024. It seems after tax, that figure turns into £132 million loss. This seems bad in comparison to 2023, when Merlin made a profit of £172 million after tax. Media has been very sceptical about the loss for Merlin, but in recent years we have seen Nemesis, Reborn, Toxicator, Minifigure Speedway, Jumanji and Hyperia, not to mention the forthcoming Paw Patrol and Minecraft projects at Chessington. We all know profit takes time after investment. It's a difficult one to judge because the loss could come from poor operations too, notably poor operations at Alton Towers. But all this detail is relevant to revenue and return of investment in regards to Hyperia. All I can say is that time will tell. Lastly, let's look at Hyperia's financial model to see if we can understand the economics of extreme thrills in more depth. Specific data is not widely available, so we can only look at the potential information. Initially reported in the budget from 2022, Hyperia cost a total of 18 million, but speculators suggest that due to inflation and potential overruns in payments, operations, etc., this cost could actually be 25 to 30 million pounds. An important factor in this coaster build is that Merlin do not own the site. They have a 35-year-old lease as from 2007, which they purchased from the Two Swords Group. Merlin have to invest to maintain their lease, but this gives them options should they not renew. They can sell the coaster and move it onto a new site, potentially a buyback from the current owners of Thorpe Park, the owners being LXI Wright. Worst case scenario, it goes to the scrapyard. But truth be told, all is not lost if they choose not to renew their lease. Such a big investment for such a desired coaster caused great excitement. That excitement is a crowd pleaser, with fans world around coming to ride the UK's most extreme coaster. Ultimately, to truly understand the economics of Hyperia, we need to do big maths. How about no? We can just do the basics. Let's overview it. How about 25 million cost? 40k per day to operate. If we say Thorpe opens for 250 days per year, that is 250 times 40,000, which equals 10 million pounds. Thorpe Park has 1.8 million visitors annually. If we put a generic ticket total of £33 on, we can do a calculation of 33 times 1.8 million, which equals 59.4 million pounds. Hyperia operation costs are pretty much 17% of the ticket sales in Thorpe Park, but yet it's only one ride in the park. In my opinion, that maths doesn't look good. For me, it looks like Thorpe is dependent on upsells, like Fright Nights, merchandise, food and beverages, and obviously the hotel. Apparently, the Swarm cost more to build than Hyperia. That's all I've got to say for today. I hope this was a good insight into the economics of extreme thrills. See you soon.